How you doing, everybody? Randy Richard here in the shop. See if I can say that any faster, huh? Anyway, thanks for stopping in. I have a couple things to show you. I was also a recipient of a box from SECO and Niagara Tools. Mr. Noland there, Dennis Noland, sent a bunch of boxes. If you're watching other guys' channels, you've seen their opening their boxes and things like that, and there's more to come as far as box openings go. Now, I was asked to open the box on camera, so that's what we're going to do. But I want to take it a little bit a step further. I need to mill up do the milling on 3 more dovetail cutters that I have. I haven't finished up yet. One needs to be shipped out, and the other 2 I'll still have available. But I'm going to take one of the cutters. I hope there's one in the box that I can do that with. And I'm going to take it out, put it in an end mill holder, and go to the mill and get that one. Get these 3 actually. I'll end up doing, but I'll mill one up here on the camera using one of their new cutters. Anyway, I also received another box over a week ago, but from Mr. Jim Bollinger at Do-Rite Fabrication. He's over in Florida. He sent me a couple things, which is very nice of Jim. Right there's his cards, and he's got one of them type of deals on the back. I can't remember what they call those things, where you scan it. Anyway, thank you, Jim. My son got a hold of Jim when Jim was at the Sun in the Fun fly-in in Florida. He was down there, teaching welding and such, and they had a little bit of a special going on, welders and things. So my son was able to call him up and have Jim buy him Jim helped him buy a welder through the Sun and Fun deal that they had going. So that was a sweet deal. My son bought a TIG 200 like the one I have, and that machine is a fantastic machine. I love the thing. It's just so easy to use, and it works very well. It's been able to do everything I want it to do, and so my son picked one up also, and he'll have that set because he's planning on moving, and so he wants to take his own. We'll have his own TIG welder with him. But anyway, Jim also sent me a couple things. Also, so he sent a couple stickers. He sent a nice welding cover, a little welder cover for my TIG 200, and he sent a couple pair of gloves, nice Lincoln Electric welding gloves. So thank you, Jim. At Do-Rite Fabrication. So I'll make sure I put his link on the channel and such. So check Jim out. And he builds a lot of fun stuff. He's got his barrel train finished up finally, and that's a fun project. If you got space and you got a lot of kids, or for an organization, it'd be a pretty fun project to do. Anyway, we're gonna go right over and let's open that box from Niagara and SECO and see what we got in my box. All the boxes have been a little bit different. Dennis there tried to customize the boxes for what you're doing in your shop type of thing, I think, the way it looked. I was very surprised to be included. The whole machining thing on YouTube and all the creators, it doesn't really matter how many subscribers you have or anything. Some of the stuff guys do is very fun to watch. I watch people that have just a few hundred subscribers to Adam and Tom and stuff who have, many thousands, tens of thousands of subscribers, and Mr. Pete who just went over 100,000. So it's fun to watch what different people do in their shops. Like I said before, I have to blame what I'm doing on Chuck, Outside Screwball, as far as the videos go. I've always done stuff in my shop, and I've had a shop for a very long time, but Chuck was the one that started me talked me into doing videos. So I blame this all on him. Anyway, but I am amazed that that I was able to be included in the group with the box thing with SECO Tools and be associated with and be able to meet some of the other creators and being able to talk to them and everything. It's just it's really brought a lot into my life, and I really do enjoy it. Dale Dury just called me yesterday, and I talked to him probably for an hour. And Dale was actually the very first one on YouTube in the machining area that I actually watched. So that's kind of, I felt honored. I feel honored to be able to know and meet these guys. Those guys, they don't know how much I do appreciate their friendships. So let's go look at this box and see what came. Here's the box. Now I have seen other guys open their boxes on videos, so I got a little bit of an idea what is maybe what's in here. So there's a letter and a couple other boxes. Nice letter from Dennis, and I'm not going to read the whole thing, but just how they support the educational part in the machining trades, and they want to continue that support. So they're recognizing the community in general here to how much they want to help support everybody. So like I said, thank you, Dennis Noland. He's a senior design engineer at Niagara and SECO Tools. Wow, this is something else. So, Niagara Cutter 6-pack, quarter, 5/8, 3/8, 5/16, half, 3/16. Nice little 2 flute cutters. These are all uncoated. Looks like all uncoated 2 flutes. Very, very nice. Another one. What are these? Oh, roughing. Coated roughing ones. 4 flute. Oh, that's nice. These are all high-speed steel. Let's see what we got in these. Whoa. Oh, nice left hand WN8 Trigon. That's a a 4 series, a 1/2-inch IC cutter, a dead Trigon WNMG type cutter or similar. I have no left hand ones like this, but I do have a couple right hands I use all the time, especially for making dovetail cutters. I use a Trigon one all the time. And if they've got a couple inserts in there, I will definitely use it on the next time I make some dovetail cutters. Here's a couple right here, 431s. And here's some CNMGs, and I do have a holder for a CNMG, 433s and 434. Those are DNMGs. I do have a holder for those even. Very nice. Yeah, what's this one? This one's like a VBMT. I do not have a holder for those. What's in this one? Oh, wow. Ooh, grooving parting tool holder. I'll have to figure out what inserts go in there. What do we got here? These ones feel like carbide end mills. All different helixes. 4 flute, 3, 5, and a 4. They look all the same. They're all the same size. 3/8, I think. But they sure look like. They give you one's a diamond. Ooh. Wow. Whatever diamond means. But anyway, these are beautiful. Look at those. That is beautiful. Chamfer. Cornered. Wow. And a wavy side cut. Well, I'm gonna, like the other guys, I've never seen one like this or used one. And we'll have to look it up to see what they're kind of intended for and things like that. Very cool. 4-flute, high-speed steel one. Let's open the big one. Wow. Yeah. Now there's a cutter for you. 3-flute. Feels like carbide. Carbide, yep. 1 inch. That's a beautiful tool. Coated. Beautiful tool. For a 1 inch depth of cut. Oh, like this one here. This is a 3-flute carbide. 1/2 inch. That will work right there. TICN coated. That will work right there. I can use that for making a dovetail cutter. Right now that's the one that's going to go in there. We'll set that aside. I got 3 that I could do on dovetail cutters. Wow. Like I said, Dennis, I don't know what to say. Thank you. Thank you. This is a lot of projects right there. That's how we could look at that. That's a lot of projects. So sustaining the shop for quite a while in end mills, and I love the lathe tools. I love lathe work, and those will work out really nice. I got my end mill holder here, and we're gonna go with the 3-flute. It's a special, it says. 1/2 inch shank, carbide end mill. Put that in there. Now, I've been asked before, why do I use a end mill holder? Now, this is an R8 1/2 inch end mill holder. I use an end mill holder when I'm doing dovetail cutters because I have to take the cutter out and put a chuck in. For each, I have 1 tool change every dovetail cutter. So this gives me some indexability without, having to touch off or anything, something like that. On a manual mill, I have my dial set for my Z-axis, so I can come to a roughing position right away. And by doing this, I have indexability with my tool to the dial on the Z-axis. That's why I use an end mill holder for doing this. This is showing how I do the dovetail cutters now. This is a little bit different from when I first made the series. I'm making the dovetail cutter. I use my milling vise, a square collet block, and I have a depth stop in the collet, and I use a stop on the jaws. This is so when I do a batch of them, I have some indexability here. So the end mill is placed in the collet to roughly the same position. They are not all exactly the same length. They're very close, but they're really not exactly the same length. But it's just for clearance here with the end mill when you're cutting through. And then I have a stop here on the jaw, so I place the block in at the same location. I just set it flush with the end of the jaw. And the other thing I do here is, this is really not different, but I've measured the diameter of the head of the cutter, and I've calculated out the exact point I need to mill to. The inserts are 1/8 of an inch thick, within usually a few tenths. They're fairly accurate, so we don't worry too much about that. And I made a little, of course, I've made a little cheat sheet right there. all the diameters and what I need to mill to, how much I need to take off the cutter. The diameter I shoot for 1.230, but because I use a hot rolled stock, sometimes I have to make them a tiny bit smaller. So within a few thousandths, which is really insignificant. The important part is not having your cutter insert tip past the center point in this direction, in this direction over. Due to, you don't want it to be past the center point spinning axis of the cutter. So you have shoot 10 thousandths easy, roughly a leeway. I don't want to really be below 1.223, and I shoot for 1.230. So usually I'm within a few thousandths of the 1.230. Rarely do I get down to even to 1.23 or 1.225, I should say. I don't even usually even get there. This one is 1.228. Anyway, so I need to come down 739. And what I do is I take a height gauge. I take my height gauge that we need to get turned on there. Yeah. Anyway, and I like using the electronic one because it's easy to zero out. On top, and then I come down the appropriate amount, 739 in this case. And I scribe a line. That's my bozo line. So when I put my end mill, bring my end mill down, I'm usually about 20 or so thousandths above that line for my roughing cuts to mill it out, and then I take a measurement or two, and we dial it right into the whatever the amount we need. I shoot for plus or minus 1 there. Here's we're going to try this one out. This is a 3-flute carbide Niagara Cutter, the one we just unboxed. We're going to give her a go, see how it performs here. Well, that is cutting like butter. This is a 4140 pre-hardened material. And I'm conventionally cutting as far as direction go, and the finish is absolutely phenomenal. Just phenomenal. Getting a nice blue, getting a nice blue to straw colored chip there. I'm running around at 1850 RPM actually. Now how far I go in the X direction is all done by eye up to the point where I use the DRO once I do the first one, kinda, but mostly by eye until I see how much overhang I have, and I fine-tune that in. So we need to go a little more. That cutter is very, very nice. A little bit more. This is really a non-critical dimension. You can just eye it. I like to have 20 to 30 thousandths of the base sticking out. Not too much, not a lot at all, but just 20 or 30 thousandths. Okay, we're close to that, and what now I'm going to do is I'm going to come around and we're going to measure our depth and start our fine-tuning, our finishing cuts. Just want to say, when you're side milling like this, the shards that come off are like needles. I mean, super sharp needles. These chips can fly at you and they'll just stick right in like arrows. I wear gloves because of this. These are nasty chips. So be very careful with them and clean up. I take a fine diamond hone here from Easy Lap. These are wonderful to have for deburring. And I just, make sure there's no burr on the edge here when we measure this. Especially you have to watch this little point right here. That side milling can form a chip or a burr right on the tip of that, so just a little wipe off. I like to just double check, make sure I'm staying on 0. I'm at 709. We need to be 739, so that's actually 30 thousandths. We'll come up most of that, like 25, and call it rough, and then we'll do a one final cut or light pass. We're taking off 25 down on the bottom, and we'll go in. I've zeroed my DRO on the x-axis. Do another quick insert check, and I still want to take off a little more off that back. Do a little climb mill there. Conventional. That's probably, take another 20, and that's probably going to be just right. Also, you might see here I've engraved the logo before I do the milling. That gives me a nice round surface. It's a lot easier to do. So I leave there's a gap in the engraving that I designed, so I mill out that spot. When I put it in the collet block, I index it with the engrave. We're at 732, so 9 more or 7 more thousandths. So this is our 7 thousandths, our final cut. At least that's the plan. What I have here is a gauge pin that just fits the insert. And I lower it through the insert and then raise it up 10 thousandths, just so it's not touching the the cutter. Then I bring it in till it just touches, and there's free movement, and check underneath and adjust your Y position. To get your even overhang. Lock the table, then get your position in the X. So just a real nice sliding fit, and make sure it still seats. Lock your table. Then I use a spotting drill. I spot it deep enough so when I drill my hole, it leaves a nice small countersink on the hole. Now I'm going to drill for a 440 screw hole, and it's only a 50% thread. I use an anchor lube on this. Works pretty good. Nothing special on the drill, just high-speed steel drills. And we just tap it with a 440 tap, a hand. I've broken several taps doing this, but I've always been able to get them out. And there's no need to tap all the way through the hole, through the cutter head. I just go until there's a fair little bit of resistance there. It's when you go through and if there's a chip and stuff, that's when you break your tap. So there's no need to. The screws aren't that long. And clean the hole. A little blast of air in it. And anyways, test the insert before I take it out of the mill. Oh, perfect fit. There we go. Looks like a perfect fit. And we'll take it out, do a little deburr on it, a little polish, and a little cleanup. Okay, we're all deburred, cleaned up. And that's the machined finish on that face, that side mill area. Just beautiful finish. So there's a dovetail cutter made with the new Niagara carbide 3 flute. Thank you, Dennis Noland, and I'll be using those for quite a few more of these dovetail cutters, I hope. Came out just beautiful. Now to engrave, and this one's going right out, shipped out today to Rick down in Texas. So Rick, you know who you are. He's getting also the last scribe of the batch until I make some more. So Rick got it just in under the wire, got that last scribe.